All right, a little swing change update. So if you haven't been watching recently, I've come to a point with my trail wrist here where the pain has really become a problem. You know, in the backswing, it's extending and sort of bending back too far. It's doing it even more in transition, so it's really hurting here. And that motion is also what causes me trouble with releasing the club properly, having good face control, delivering enough loft with my driver. I've decided I'm really gonna commit to that this year. And I've hit the first obstacle that I often hear people say, which is they lose a bit of distance, they lose a bit of speed, they don't hit the ball that they expect, they start hitting it maybe in a different part of the face, and they start to kind of quit on it. So for me, this 7-iron, if I just kind of hit it normally, you know, back when I would not be addressing this swing problem, it would probably fly about 190. Oh, pretty good. That's about a 160-yard 7-iron. I didn't hit it perfect, I towed it a bit. Perfect strike, it might have gone 162 or 163. So that club head speed is about 10 miles an hour slower for now than I'm used to. What I'm used to creates a ton of speed from this sort of last second release of all this angle. It's not just this hinge angle, it's this bend back angle that create the inconsistency and also the pain. Part of the process is that if I'm doing it well, of course I'm going to see a club head speed loss because my power source, which is inefficient and hurts, is now kind of going away. But the benefit to that is that proper rotation, let's just say using the body to square the face more, is something I can now actually start to develop because I've taken away that crutch. Over time, I think I could probably pick back up some of my distance, but if I hit the first one at 160 and give up, then I will never get anywhere. Decent as well, a tiny bit thin, a little bit slower even on the club head speed. What I can tell you is that I haven't been able to hit 3 balls with an iron in months without pretty much running for the bottle of Advil or taping up my wrist. I've actually hit for about half an hour just to get sort of ready for this video, and I feel pretty fine with the wrist. It doesn't hurt during the swing. I can tell it's not getting stress on it. That one pretty nice too. There's going to be things that discourage you. In my case, I'm going to look at a club head speed that's 10 miles an hour slower. I'm going to look at a distance that's almost 30 yards shorter. For other people, there may be contact changes or temporary losses in whatever. The encouraging things that I'm seeing is the ability to control the face, the ability to just swing without much thought, rotate my body through without having to feel like I time it perfectly. So now when I miss a shot, it's just been a bit of a fade, not by much. For now, I'm not fighting it because dynamically my hooded, kind of de-lofted shut face kind of demanded a draw. At the moment, the best shots are straight, slight misses or fades. I can live with that. So the feeling that I'm working on is very simple. I'm just taking the club up to the top with what feels like almost no bend in my trail wrist. Again, this is for me. A lot of people don't need what I'm about to say. So feeling like that trail wrist doesn't bend backwards. And then in transition, I feel like I don't allow it to bend backwards at all. I just keep it pretty flat in the downswing, turn my body through. As simple as that. So that's me being, oh, the camera's on, I want to swing harder. Even when I do that and it goes up a little bit faster, when I go look at the high speed, it's not all of a sudden looking like this and narrow. It actually just looks like my lower body moves a bit quicker, which is something I really needed. On the 3D, told me my hip speed is slow. I'm starting to understand why. It's reacting to what the hands were doing. That one felt pretty good. I feel like my body is getting open to the target a little bit more naturally now. And some of the old moves that I tend to have where I sort of stay low and through it and chase my head through and sort of get my body through late, a lot of that is starting to change. But you have to basically decide, is the juice worth the squeeze in terms of what you want to work on? Have you reached a plateau? It's not always about injury. For me, it partially is. If you reached a plateau with your ball striking, is it worth taking steps back in whatever category for you that means based on your swing change? Because the reality is, if you don't commit to it, if you're not willing to take some time where you lose some of like your superpowers, then you're probably never going to actually break through that plateau ever. Feels really good. I think that was just probably struck the best. Tiny bit more speed on it. So at the moment, that's kind of what a stock 7-iron will look like for me, which is interesting. I'm not going to overreact yet. I may have to consider some equipment changes at some point. But at the moment, this is fine. Another nice bonus that it's given me is sort of seems like the ability to hit true average swing speed without manipulating it too much, like just actually make what feels like just a softer motion. But because of the structure now that I'm developing and not creating these angles and such, it doesn't require all this timing. So I can kind of hit these normal range of motion, partial shot, 150-yard 7-irons that for club testing, I think will be very, very beneficial. Like that one. So I made a full range of motion. I wouldn't say I was trying to baby it, but I can get a shot that's a distance that actually has spin, like a ball flight that people who swing at that speed would actually be able to relate to. It's going to let me test different clubs a lot more accurately. Now with my old motion, driver was always the one that caused the biggest problem. It was the one that just like, it wouldn't matter what I was messing around with in my swing. If it felt good with a 7-iron, I would get to driver and my old pattern would just be right back there. This motion that I'm describing, which is really just trail wrist a little flatter and keep it a little flatter, it's the first time I've ever looked at my swing on camera and seen the shaft unwinding a little bit more at a natural rate. It's not just, I barely want to rehearse this because it hurts, but it's not just narrow, 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 oh God. It's the first time I've seen it not look like that. It's difficult to describe how different that is than how I can normally hit a driver. So this driver, for me, the way I normally have it set up, I would be lucky to ever be able to launch a ball more than 11, and I certainly would never see high spin unless I thinned the absolute crap out of it, which of course with that much launch I did not. Strike felt pretty good. I may need to refit the club a bit because obviously now, interestingly, it will probably produce a little bit too much spin for me. I always tend towards stuff like the GT2, more balanced spin. I don't feel flinchy at impact, and that's the number one thing probably since I was a teenager that drives me nuts about my golf swing, is especially when I'm under pressure, I'm not feeling good over it, that kind of flinchiness near impact. This is the first time I've felt that kind of go away, and anyone that's really narrow, really late with that wrist angle can probably relate to that feeling. It's either going to go really well or it's going to go really bad. Now I feel like I've got the face in a reasonable range kind of for longer near impact, and the average result should just be a lot more stable. Remind myself that it's okay to swing slower. I want to get better. Just commit to the feeling. Very satisfying. Very satisfying. I normally cannot, particularly at certainly not at a lower club head speed, properly produce like loft and angle of attack and those kind of things. The club head speed thing, yes, some people may look at that and go, oh man, like you have a club head speed, I'd love to have a club head speed like that. It's like, okay, if your club head speed comes at too high a price, like mine does, then maybe it's not worth it. When I initially posted, probably at least a few weeks ago, about starting to work on my swing, wasn't a clickbait thing. This is probably the third time I posted about it. I am doing it, I am practicing it. This is what it looks like in the meantime, and I'm finding it encouraging. So all I can say is if you're working on a swing change, work with someone really good that shows you camera footage, tracks data very closely, and be patient. Let your body start to react to the new motions, accept some of these temporary, call it setbacks or temporary changes in performance, and keep your eyes on the long term.